Hey, how you doing, everybody? I'm David with Ascending Minds.
And I'm Gene from Double 3 Photography, and we're those photo guys. We're going to talk a little bit today about gear envy and why you should really try and avoid that at all costs, because it really could put you in a bad spot financially. So, David, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you've got going right now?
All right. Well, I'm on my first entry-level camera. It's a Canon T3i. Bought it fairly cheap. It was only $400. Came with 2 kit lenses. Bought another kit lens for $100, and for the purposes that I need for it, it's doing me beautifully.
Now, like David, I started out at one point as well, but I've been doing it a little bit longer than he has. I started shooting about 3 years ago, and I started with a Nikon D3100, which is an entry-level DSLR body, an 18 to 55 kit lens, and the only additional cost I really, had was adding a 35 1.8 to that setup. I used that gear until I outgrew its limitations, and now I'm on a D7000, faster glass 17 to 52.8, and a 70 to 200 2.8. Still have the 35 1.8, but I'm getting ready to upgrade again. But we're going to get into that in a few more minutes. David, why don't you tell us what tell everybody what you like about what you're shooting right now, and any limitations you may or may not have come across yet.
Well, I can't quite say, I can't put my finger on what limitations I have come across. I mean, apart from my limited aperture availability and my kit lenses, my favorite lens that I have right now is my 70 to 250, and zoomed in all the way at 250, 5.6 is as open as you're going to get. Actually, no, I'm lying. It's probably f6 that. So I can't, like low level light, low light conditions. They're the ones that really hamper my ability to shoot great quality photos with kit lenses. But as far as the body concerned, I'm really happy with my T3i. I'm just waiting until I can actually pinpoint and start to actually experience the limitations of this entry-level DSLR before I even consider upgrading.
So David made a good point there. He's waiting until he figures out the limitations, and that's where I was. I shoot a lot of concerts, so a lot of low light photography there, and the D3100, even though it did pretty darn well for what it cost me, I figured out after a little while what the limitations really were. I started having trouble locking focus on a dimly lit subject. My lens, my kit lens, obviously was nowhere near fast enough. And when I say fast, I'm talking how wide the aperture opens. Anything 2.8, 1.8, 1.4, is considered fast glass. So, I really found that I needed to upgrade. So I went to the D7000, which had much better performance in low light, a better focusing system, more focus points, and I made up for some of the limitations of this camera with better glass, all fast glass, which helped me immensely with what I'm doing. But now I'm getting ready to upgrade again because I have outgrown the limitations of the body I'm on now. A little bit of difficulty focusing still on low light and things like that. But I'm going to explain here in a minute, what I'm going to and why I'm going to do that. But David, if you were at those limitations right now on what you're shooting, where do you think you would go? Would you jump to the dark side and go Nikon?
I don't know if I am ready. I'm getting really used to the Canon interface. I'm probably not going to touch my body for a while until I get out of school. I'm probably going to use this body throughout the entire program. But what I am definitely considering is upgrading my glass. Like I said, as a novice, I'm starting to see the limitations of my glass. I'm starting to see the limitations of my lenses. Not so much the body. The body's doing me fine, and I see my next upgrade being probably a nice, 300 millimeter zoom lens, hopefully a 2.8. You know, I'm probably gonna have to spend a pretty penny on it, but it's gonna be a pretty penny well spent. Again, like I said, mostly because it's coming to a point where I see the limitation of my glass, but I don't see the limitation of my body. And maybe when I get better glass, the limitations of the body will actually become more apparent. I just don't see it now.
Another good point by David there. You know, glass is most important. You know, really good glass on a lower end body is going to perform a lot better than cheap glass on a high end body. So glass first. But since I'm invested in glass already, I am going to be moving to the Nikon D800, which is a beast of a body with, you know, a 36.3 megapixel sensor, outstanding low light performance, you know, when compared to any of the crop sensor bodies, and you know, even compared to, you know, some of the full frame bodies out there. It also shoots amazing, you know, video that's considered to be broadcast quality. So that's something else that I'm looking forward to with that camera. It's going to cost me a little bit, you know, but it's well worth it, so that I am not fighting against some of the limitations that I am right now. But you know, other than that, you know, I should be all set for quite a while with that body, and then again, it's investing in more glass at that point. But you know, when the camera comes in, you know, we'll have it here in one of our videos, and I'll show everybody, and I'll, you know, run you through all the ins and outs, you know, the settings and everything, and the functions of the camera, and we'll see how it does.
So if there's anything that you can pick up from this video and a little ramble, please try to avoid, you know, gear envy. One of the topic that we're really covering today is better gear is only going to give you better photos if your vision and your technique are in sync with it. You know, you can buy a $5,000 camera, go out there, and still end up shooting garbage because you just don't know what you're doing. And that's something everybody experiences when they first enter any kind of field. Get to know your field first, get to know your subject matter first, get to know your vision first, and then you can lay off the big bucks on the good stuff. You know, you would be surprised how little money you actually have to spend to capture quality photos. It's under $1,000, and you could be well off on your way, and you could come up with great work for a year, make, you know, decent more money professionally with the entry-level gear, and then use that to upgrade to much more professional quality bodies and lenses.
So in a nutshell, if you master your craft and master your gear, nobody's going to have any idea what you're shooting on. Don't upgrade until you absolutely have to. And I think that's it for today. We'll see you guys next week. Again, you know, I'm Gene.
David with Ascendant Minds. Check us out online, ascendantminds.com.
3photography.com.
We'll see you later.
Yeah, and again, you know, hey, we're those photo guys.
Cool.
See ya.